up, gamers? This is NGG here with another review video. This time it is of Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom. This is the Princess Edition. This came out for the Switch. This includes the DLC that other editions did not get. This is included right on the cart for you. So let's talk about this game. This is the second part of the game. The first part has barely anything to do with this story. They reference it a few times, but not very many times. The difference between the first game and the second game are gonna be in the battles, and I'll talk about that in a little bit, but let's get into story. So, okay, there are there's two main characters in the storyline. There are Evan, which is the prince, and Roland. So you start off the gameplay and you are Roland coming in from another world. And now if you've played any other Ni no Kuni or seen the show, you know that they deal with more than one world. This is the same. They don't deep dive into other worlds too much in this game, but they do let you know that Roland has come in from another world into this one. This is not his home world, and you are right away in the middle of a coup to Prince Evan, who's about to be king of his own kingdom and is now being overthrown while he's there. And now you are Roland trying to help Evan out, help Evan escape. So that's basically what happens. Evan's kingdom is taken away from him at the very beginning of the game, and he has promised his nanny, I can't remember her name right now, that he would create a world with no fighting and a world where everybody could have a happily ever after. And that is what he intends to do throughout this whole game. He is starting his own world, his own kingdom, and he's starting it from the ground up. And while he is doing that, you are going through the story. He lost his kingmaker, so he now has to get another kingmaker. He is getting them to sign the Declaration of Interdependence, and there are a lot of things that you're doing. You are trying to build up your own kingdom with citizens and stuff like that. He gets sucked into so many different types of battles. He is forced to help each and every individual big city out with what's going on in their cities in order to get them to help him. And that's what he's doing. There are things that are happening in the storyline that are being done to these big towns, and I don't want to spoil that for you guys, but he is in these towns trying to help out. So that's the story in a nutshell. Like I said, I don't want to ruin big plot points, but basically you're trying to build a new kingdom and create a happily ever after is Evan's big goal in this game. He wants no more fighting and a happily ever after. The next thing we're going to talk about is gameplay. In gameplay, we have a bunch of things going on. So of course there's your regular fighting, and now this fighting is a lot different than in part one. Part one, it was more like a Pokemon situation, where this one is definitely an not a turn-based battle, action type battle system. So you are fighting and moving around the board, trying not to get these people to hit you. There's blocks that you can be doing. You can be doing melee attacks. You can do ranged attacks. Every character has its own ranged and melee attacks. Well, the melee attacks are the same, but their own ranged attacks. They have different weapons. I think there's two sets of each, so there's 6 main fighting characters that you fight with throughout the whole game, and each of those 6 characters have 2 of them have bows, 2 of them have pistols, and 2 of them have magic. So there's 3 typings of each one, and then 2 of them use axes, 2 of them use swords, and 2 of them use staffs, I believe, as their main melee weapon. So essentially you can mix and match whichever team you prefer. I basically stuck with Roland, Evan, and then I would switch out my third party member every so often to whoever I thought fit the group at the time. But basically Roland and Evan were in my party Roland for sure was in my party like 99% of the time because he was the main character I played it with. Evan was in there like 85%, and then the rest of the characters, whatever I needed, whatever kind of assistance I needed, I would move them in and out. And that's for your battle system. So you also have these little higgly things in your battle with you that do like little magic. So like you'll see like a circular thing come around, these little little spirit animal things, and when you like press the A button, for me, while you're in that circle, it'll get them to do whatever magic thing that they do. Each higgly has its own magic style. They do different things. Some of them fire cannonballs. Some of them do like these like big pulse attacks. So each one does something different. Some of them even heal you. I kept one healing one in my party. I think you can have up to 4 different types of higglies with you fighting, but you do not control them. The only time that you can control them is when there's a circular thing around them that you have to make sure that you hit if you want them to activate whatever kind of battle they have, mechanic they have. But that's the most you do with the higglies. You do not control them. You can control your other party members. You can switch into battle. They also give you like 3 different weapons at a time, so you can switch between 3 different of your melee attacks during battle. So like when you're fighting, you're supposed to be leveling up the magic attack for that weapon, and each weapon has its own. So you can be attacking with one and then using the sword or whatever your main melee weapon is and attack with the big magic, and then switch out the sword or whatever melee weapon you're using and attack with the next big magic. So it's their way of controlling how much magic you use and how to hoard it up and let it out at one time, which I kind of enjoyed this battle system much better than in Ni no Kuni 1, because I was more involved. I didn't really like the like Pokemon type thing in Ni no Kuni 1, so this one was so much better, the battle mechanics in this game. Now let's talk about the other kind of battle system they had, which was like you're doing these skirmishes. So these skirmishes are like these big army type battles. So while you're gaining your citizens, some of your citizens come with armies. So you can mix what kind of army style you want to have. Some of them are magicians, some of them are archers, some of them are shields, some of them are attackers. But each, like not every citizen has an army, but some of the major citizens do. And so you go in and you do these skirmishes, and this is where this game reminds me a little bit of not a little bit, this game reminds me a lot of Shikoden, where you had like army battles and you were building your world. So like if you are a fan of the Shikoden series, you will fit just right with this game. They did not have it doesn't play exactly the same way, but it had the same kind of feel for me, and I really love the Shikoden series. So this game so much reminded me of that, and I don't know if it did to any of you guys who have played both the Shikoden series or the Suikoden series, whichever way you want to say it, and Ni no Kuni 2. But I really enjoyed the battle mechanics in that game, and I did enjoy the battle mechanics in this game. There are a lot of side quests. I will tell you, I got lost in the side quests for the majority of my game, and so that was another thing I was doing with the gameplay, was a lot of side quests, and a lot of side quests are fetch quests. Some of them are to gain citizens, some of them are to gain items, some that help you gain citizens later on. So you do these attacks later, and then you speak to somebody later on and he helps you get the citizens, but you have to do these little matches or these little quests. So I tried to do almost all of the quests that I could. I'm not gonna say that I did everyone, but I did get lost. Maybe 60%, 70% of my game was side quests and getting characters and getting items and getting song sheets. I was just doing side quests to the end, where I decided like, all right, after every main plot point, I will stop, do clear up a bunch of my side quests and then go back into the story. So it did lose my immersion in that way. Like, it was immersion breaking from the story for me because I had to stop, do these side quests, try to get these villagers. You don't have to. I don't think you have to get a set amount of villagers, but I liked, like I said, it reminded me of this recording series where you had to get the 100 and I think it was 3 or 105 stars. And in this one, I believe there are actually 100. I only was able to get 90. I was able to find 91, but I wasn't able to pick up the last character. But I missed out on the last 9, and the last 10, and I could not for the life of me find it. I do not like to look up my games, so if it wasn't told to me in the game, I went to every village multiple times, because you go in there and sometimes there'll be a new quest for a new villager that you didn't see before after every major plot storyline, that's why I would stop in the middle of the big storyline sequences and go into every village again and see what there was to do, because sometimes there'd be a new character to pick up. And I did like that about this game, which is you had so many villagers, you got to know them, most of them, not all of them, because there was a side story to go get them. Let's talk about controls now. So I never had a problem controlling the character. What I did have a problem with was switching between weapons. I always forgot what button switched between the weapons during the middle of the fight, so I had a very hard time with that. Also, you have to hold the magic button if you want to have a big pulse magic, and I didn't know that as well. There are a lot of things that I didn't realize until like the middle of my gameplay session that I wish I would have known sooner. But the regular battles weren't super hard. What were hard for me were the skirmishes. The skirmishes, because you had to, like, you would think you were done and then they would send you another tidal wave of attackers to attack you, and you had to move your army. Like, the army can twist around, so sometimes I would have to put my shield people up when attackers were coming and then move them around, or move the shield people in front of the archers so the archers could hit the people. There was just a lot of going on with the skirmish battles that was a little harder for me to get into than the regular battles. So I mean, there were a lot of skirmishes which I didn't appreciate. I'm gonna say that was the one thing that I really didn't like in this game, were the skirmish battles. Because I didn't understand them, and I'm gonna be very honest, that's the only reason why I didn't like them a lot. So that's why I wasn't happy with them. We want to talk about one thing that really bothered me in this game. It was this boss battle that had a lot of platforming. The boss itself wasn't super hard when you leveled up correctly, but it was getting to the top where it's like the platforms would disappear, and every time I would try to climb up, I would have to go through it again, and that took me, I'm not gonna lie, about an hour to figure out. Alright, now let's give this game a rating. So if we are gonna rate Ni no Kuni 2, I would say out of 5, and I'm gonna tell you, I really enjoyed the art. Reminds me of cartoons, and I really like that animation style for some reason. So I love the art, I love the gameplay. There, like I said before, there are a couple of things I was not happy about with the gameplay, but all in all, I would give this a 4.7. I love the game. I spent 90 hours in this game. 90 hours to my completion, and I'm still not done. If I want to go back, I don't think I will go back. I think I'm done playing it at this point, but if I wanted to go back and get more out of the game, I could, because I still am missing 10 villagers that I never got. So I would say, yeah, that was my rating. I'm so happy about this game. I can't wait if they make a part 3. These games are great. I just wish they would put like the pacing in Ni no Kuni 1 had. I feel like Ni no Kuni 1 had better pacing in the storyline because there weren't as many side missions, but there was so much more to do in Ni no Kuni 2. So I had a great time with this game, and that's my review, guys. That's what I thought about Ni no Kuni 2. Thank you guys for watching so much. I hope you guys play the game. Let me know what you think about it if you do get a chance to play the game. Happy gaming, guys. Bye.